I'm making a PvP guide for anyone below Diamond 1 level. So basically, my Protoss is about Diamond 1. Sometimes on a good day, I could beat a Master in PvP, but it's not my main race, and I don't really know the typical timing and meta stuff. I'm just playing very simple, straightforward, basic, easy build, I guess. So I'm gonna demonstrate my easy build.
Good luck.
Just
Beat him.
very standard and foolproof. You don't have to micro intensively. You don't have to multitasking too much. Basically, you just wall off here. Put your first pylon here. Leave enough space. You have the grid. You have to kind of visualize where to put a pylon. So it's not that hard. Then you put one gate here, and leave one space for the wall. You could put this probe back to mining as well. It's totally fine. Alright, so let's get a gate. And after the gate, we'll go across the map to scout. And after the pylon finish, you chrono boost the worker. And I'm not very precise with my timing, so I don't really know when exactly first to get gas or to get second gate. I don't really know. Sometimes I just do it randomly. But by doing it randomly, I can manage to be to play at Diamond 1 level. So I think it's probably fine if you are not super serious about PvP. If you're just someone below Diamond 3 level, or if you are just wanting to have some fun without trying too hard, you can totally just follow this build order. And obviously after the gates, you get the cyber core ASAP, and you scout it. There's nothing strange. Put down a second pylon. This is a very easy mistake to make, to get supply block right here at 21, 23. So get the second gas as well. Usually your opponent would harass with a probe, so be careful, don't get your gas stolen by them. So yeah, it's a pretty simple. My build is just fast to adapt and try to harass. Once the cyber core finished, chrono boost, double chrono boost the adapter, and move across the map and try to do some damage and get some scout information. So you have double purpose there. Get another pylon, otherwise you're gonna get supply blocked. My build doesn't involve Stargate until late game. It's mainly on ground unit focused centric, because this is simpler to control. I think air units is awesome in PvP, but it's very hard to control and very hard to manage, to multitask. It's like Oracle, it's very easy to die if you don't pay attention, or if you pay too much attention, you could just bank up a lot of resources. Here we make a shield we're pretending that opponent is doing some harass, or could be potentially doing harass. So we make a shield to block it temporarily. We're gonna cancel it before it finishes. So let's say that the opponent is not doing some harass, so we can just cancel it for now and do some harass of our own, and you can just shade it out. It doesn't really matter that much to do damage. The important thing is that you don't take damage. So one thing you could do is to put one probe here, it stays here, and once you see the depths coming, just put a shield or a pylon to block it. So yeah, that's basically the basic idea, and you just keep harassing with a depth until they die, and keep them alive as long as possible. And I like to get Robo Opener into Twilight. Hotkey on the Robo, and we just keep making Stalkers non-stop. And at this point, I think if your opponent is proxy Stargate, the Oracle could be coming to our base. So remember to put some units into our mineral line and hotkey some Stalkers. I put this on control group 2 so that when I see something react, I use control group 2 instead of the all-arm hotkey, so these remain in position to defend. Okay, so we're gonna get Twilight as well. As you can see, we're banking a lot of money because I'm talking a lot, because I'm not very focused right now. We can chrono boost some workers out, And first I'm gonna get scouting units, is get the observer to go across the map, and just non-stop making stalkers and workers, non-stop worker and stalkers, and we're gonna get more gates. And it really depends on what your opponent is doing, I guess. But first you want to be safe. Based on the information you gathered with the depth, you will kind of know if they are trying to do some one base, 4 gates, or some sneaky stuff. You should scout that out with your depths. If you are denied, your scout denied, you can make a sentry to make a hallucinated phoenix to scout instead. Anyways, just non-stop making stalkers at the same time. And as you can see, we're sending the observer straight across the map. I have these on hotkey 3, so I can individually micro that thing. You don't have to micro too hard. We're gonna get expansion very soon if we don't scout anything aggressive. Let's just pretend that we see that he's on 2 bases. He's very nicely saturated. He doesn't look like he's being aggressive. So we're gonna get a 3rd base, and behind this, just keep making immortals. If you have money, obviously warping more units. You can just park the observer in their base, and now we're gonna go onto the map to harass with our stalkers. When the blink is almost finished, you don't have to move out when the blink is finished. You can move out just before it finishes, so it times. The timing is just perfect. Okay, we're banking up a lot of money, so we make some gates. We pretend that we are fighting, and we retreat. We snipe some units, so retreat. Get some more gates. We're gonna have money, so we make infrastructures. Make all this fancy stuff. Double the thing. Okay, after blink, we're gonna get the charge. Pretend that we're fighting, and then we leave. Just harass and distract your opponent so that they don't attack you. That's the main idea. If you don't attack your opponent, your opponent will have full attention on you. Means they can harass you left and right. So instead, you want to harass them, poke a little bit. You don't want to commit too much. You don't want to lose stalkers. You just want to distract them. That's the main idea. Okay, we're seeing that they're moving out a little bit with this pathetic units because this is a simple AI. It doesn't matter. Just macro up, and keep making gates, keep making units. Depends on what you want to do. I like to get high Templar, so make the high Templar archives. So just use your stalker to scout basically. Keep control where they are expanding, and just try to snipe as much as possible, and always spend your money. Spend all the money. Now we have a lot of gates. We can just non-stop making units basically. Okay, we see that they are trying to expand. Deny that and run away. That's the idea. You deny it and you run away. You don't have to use any air units in this build until late game. You transition into carriers and yeah. And now we have 71 workers. If you want, you can stop making workers. If you want to commit to three base all-in strong push, you could just stop making workers and just push, spam units at this point. Or you could just make a 4th base as well. Depends on the situation. If your opponent is aggressive, if it looks like they are gonna push, then obviously you want to spam units instead of making a 3rd base. If you see your opponent is on 3 bases and trying to get a 4th base, you're gonna get your own 4th base as well. Alright, we have a lot of money. Spam units, spam these infrastructures. Without infrastructures, you cannot macro. It's very important to get the gates in time, get the pylons in time. You cannot see your opponent's units coming and then make gates. That is already too late. You have to make it before you spotted them. Okay, make archons, get upgrades, get more zealots, just spam zealot charge lots. At mid-game stage, you just don't want to make stalker anymore. They are kind of weak. Unless you're going for a stalker and disruptor style, which I don't recommend for the lower than diamond 1 level. It's a little bit difficult to micro, I guess. It's not very, not very new friendly. So yeah, we have a very nice army here. Okay, he found our what is called server. Just move it away. Doesn't matter. Okay. We're still making workers. Chrono boost. I think we have a lot of chrono boosts banked up. Just keep making units. Every time you have money, you just spam them into charge lots. It's very simple. Now we have a huge army basically, thanks to the brilliant non-stop macroing. It's pretty smooth. 180 supply is not the best. You can definitely macro better than this. I'm not a Protoss main, but this is a pretty sizable army. Keep making immortals, chrono boost if you want. And we're gonna pretend that he has a third here, and we're gonna just fight and kill his third and maybe retreat. And behind this, we want to, one is to expand to a fourth, another is to transition into air toss, into carriers during the fights. So pretend that we're fighting a huge army here against our enemy. Okay. Yeah, we're fighting, and we retreat. We kill his third, we retreat, we're ahead. Make sure you always have vision, actually, to get, if you're not very active with stalkers, make sure you scout with some observers. Keep an eye on his army movement. It's very important. You don't want to get caught off guard. Okay, now we're gonna transition into carriers. You can spend more star gate because you're rich as fuck right now. And expand faster. Late stage, you could expand much faster if the game is kind of not very active. If it's more a stalemate. Alright, so that's basically it. You could just push and keep attacking, keep getting upgrades and getting carriers. Every time you lose units, just replenish with the carriers. Don't make stalkers anymore. That's the main idea. Stalkers basically early to mid game harass and scout units. And map control units, you want them to be super active, to move around, to check if he's getting third here or check if he's third here. Just sometimes I can just deny his third here, and I move around, relocate here, and see that he's trying to get third here instead, and I snipe that as well. Just keep harassing, being a nuisance to opponents. That's the purpose of stalkers in this matchup. At lower level, at least. They're not your main army. You don't want to make them in late game. You want to spam charge lot. If you want, you can do something like this. Send some charge lots over there, and you hotkey your main army. Like this, hotkey your main army, so you don't grab them all. You don't use all target hotkey. You attack here. Meanwhile, the charge lots are move command into their mineral line here, so you do a lot of damage without them. If they are not good with multitasking, they're gonna lose all the workers and basically just lose the game. If you do it repeatedly, I think it's gonna get you very, very ahead. So yeah, that's basically the simple basic build. I think it's very simple, it's a straightforward idea. You don't have to think about a lot of micro. Yeah, you can get pretty good win rate with this below Diamond 1, I think. Alright, yeah, that's the build, and hopefully it can be helpful to your game. And obviously there are so many complexities during early game, because it depends on what your opponent is doing. If they're going for a lot of adepts, you have to be really careful to manage your just choke the wall. It's it can be very stressful. It's not my favorite matchup, but the idea is like this. If you can manage to hold, manage to stabilize, this is what this matchup looks like from early to late game. Alright, that's it. You can probably definitely find a better guide, but this is a very simple, stupid guide. If you don't think you want to try hard and play very fancy style, you can just play like this. Very solid defensive, being active. The most harass you're gonna do is being active with your stalkers in mid game, and just 2 adepts in early game. You don't have to commit too much. And the main thing is to scout your opponent's movements, scout your opponent's intentions, see if they are expanding or they are trying to attack, and what unit they're going for. If they're going for a mass void race, what do? You get stalkers and archons. Yeah, it just react, defend and react. That's it. Yeah, I think that this should work really well because usually below like a diamond 2, diamond 3 level, people are not gonna multitask, multi-prone attack. So you don't have to worry. You don't even have to worry about attacking from the main base and the third base at the same time. A warp prism here. And in case you are worried, you can always build some cannons in mid to late game and keep some units here as well. Because I mean, you can always keep units here, and because you are only microing your stalkers, just put stalkers on hotkey on number 2. These are gonna be your units to be active on the map, and when you attack, just A move everything and press hotkey number 2 and keep harassing. And your other army are gonna go back to defend, and you keep your stalker separated from the all army. So that's one way to keep to avoid have to A moving everything back home when you are actually doing something meaningful on the map with the stalkers.
Well,
Okay, so
no more gas with
yeah,
this one.
gotta learn to use at least one control group. Use one control group. I mean, if you are fancy, you can use many control groups to use oracles, use use zealot, adapt, whatever. There are infinite possibilities. All right, that's the build. That's the idea. The idea is just sit back, relax, defend, make a big army on 3 bases, push, transition into carrier. That's the idea. All right, GG.